There's a truth about addiction that most people never hear, one secret that can set you free if you let it. But you'll only find it if you watch until the very end. Don't look away, because missing this might mean staying trapped forever. You probably don't realize how much of your life is shaped by battles you can't see. Addiction is more than cigarettes, alcohol, food, or scrolling your phone late at night. It's the ancient war inside you, a battle between what you want and what you truly need, between comfort and courage, between the shadow and the self. Carl Jung saw addiction not as weakness, but as a symptom, a message from the soul. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls, he wrote. It's not laziness or lack of willpower that traps you. It's the fear of meeting your real self in the dark. Imagine you're alone in your room. The world is asleep. You feel the itch, a quiet pull towards something that promises to make the pain go away. You know it won't last, but for a moment, you just want relief. You light the cigarette. You open the app. You pour the drink. You lose yourself for a little while, hoping you can forget what you're trying so hard not to feel. But after the high, there's the crash, the shame, the silent promise to never do it again. The question, why do I keep doing this, even when I know how it ends? Most people see cravings as enemies, monsters to be slain or hidden away. But Jung's philosophy turns everything upside down. He believed that every urge, every compulsion, is a messenger, a part of your mind trying to speak a truth that your waking self has refused to hear. Think about it. If you were perfectly content, perfectly whole, what would you need to numb? What would you need to escape? Cravings are the language of the soul's pain. Addiction isn't just about chemicals or habits. It's about what's missing in your life. It's not a battle of strength. It's a puzzle of meaning. This is why so many fail. They focus on discipline, but never ask, what is this urge trying to tell me? What part of me have I locked away in the basement, hoping it will disappear? In Jung's psychology, the shadow is everything you've rejected, everything you've denied, everything you're ashamed to admit even to yourself. The more you hide your shadow, the more powerful it grows. Addiction is the shadow's favorite disguise. It shows up as comfort, but it feeds on your silence. You think, I just want to relax. I just want to feel good. I just want to stop thinking for a while. But underneath, the shadow whispers, you're not enough. You're alone. You'll never change. Every addiction is a mask for pain. Most people spend their lives rearranging the mask, never realizing that the real transformation only begins when you dare to look beneath it. We live in a culture obsessed with self-control. Just say no. Be strong. But if that worked, you wouldn't be here. Jung would say, the shadow is not defeated by force. It is only transformed by attention. Imagine trying to push a beach ball underwater. The harder you press, the more it fights back. This is how most people live, suppressing, denying, fighting. Eventually, the beach ball explodes to the surface, stronger than before. You can't white-knuckle your way out forever. The craving always returns. The real question isn't how to suppress it, but how to understand it. Here is where things change. The next time you feel the urge, don't run. Don't fight. Just notice. Pause and ask, what am I really looking for right now? Is it comfort? Is it distraction? Is it love? This is the beginning of self-mastery. Observing the craving, not becoming the craving. You may notice a story running in your mind. Maybe it's fear, or loneliness, or a sense that you're missing out. Maybe it's a voice that says, you'll never be free. But as you notice, you create a gap, a space where you can choose. Most people never get this far. They are too busy, too numb, too scared. They would rather stay in the dark than risk seeing what's hidden there. But you, right now, have already begun the journey, because curiosity is the first act of rebellion against addiction's power. Jung believed every addiction, every shadow, is an invitation. If you listen closely, your craving is asking, what have you refused to feel? What part of you needs to be heard, healed, or welcomed home? Healing doesn't start by declaring war on yourself. It starts by making peace with your own wounds, your own longing, your own forgotten dreams. Most will never do this. They'll fight, fail, blame, and repeat. But those who stay, those who dare to ask deeper questions, find something far more valuable than relief. They find themselves. This video isn't about a miracle cure. It's about a mirror, one that shows you the parts you've avoided. If you can face them, even for a moment, you can begin to write a new story. Stay with me, because in the next part, we go deeper into the real method Jung used to help people like you finally break the cycle. And at the end, you'll discover the hidden truth that can make all the difference, if you're willing to see it. Don't let your shadow win by clicking away. The breakthrough is closer than you think. If you made it this far, you're already different. Most people spend their entire lives running from discomfort, never stopping to ask what's really pulling the strings behind their cravings. Jung called this state possession, when a force inside you acts as if it's in control and you're just along for the ride. You say, I don't want to do this, but your hands, your mind, your habits move anyway. It's as if you become a stranger in your own skin. Think about it. How many times have you promised yourself, never again, only to find yourself circling back to the same habit, as if pulled by an invisible tide? The philosopher Epictetus once wrote, "No person is free who is not master of themselves." But Jung's genius was to show that self-mastery isn't about fighting the tide. It's about learning to read the currents underneath. Addiction isn't just an action. It's a ritual, a script you perform when you feel lost, lonely, or overwhelmed. But here's the secret most never learn. Every ritual holds meaning. Every habit is a clue. You don't crave the cigarette or the drink or the endless scroll for no reason. Each time, there's a trigger, an event, a feeling, a thought that makes the world feel too much or too little. Maybe it's stress after work. Maybe it's the silence before sleep. Maybe it's seeing someone else succeed while you feel left behind. The craving arrives, not as a command, but as a comfort. It whispers, let's not feel this right now. Let's forget. Let's disappear. But what if, just for a moment, you didn't run? What if you turned around and faced the craving as Jung would and asked, why are you here? The answer might surprise you. Maybe it's not about the thing itself, but the feeling you're trying to avoid. Maybe it's loneliness. Maybe it's fear of not being enough. Maybe it's the echo of a childhood wound, still unhealed. Philosophy teaches us to ask questions even when the answers hurt. Psychology gives us the courage to sit with discomfort until it tells us what we need to know. You've heard it 1,000 times. Be disciplined. Use willpower. But no one tells you the real secret. Willpower is exhaustible. Every time you resist, you're drawing from a well that eventually runs dry. When you're tired, stressed, or overwhelmed, the well empties, and the old pattern returns. Jung compared the unconscious to a vast ocean. Your conscious will is a small boat. If you only focus on rowing harder, you'll get nowhere. But if you learn to read the waves, if you know what storms are coming, you can navigate with far less struggle. This is the real skill, learning to notice your patterns without judging them, to see the craving not as failure, but as information about what's missing, information about what you truly want. Jung believed in the magic of names. What you can name, you can tame. Next time the urge arises, instead of tightening up, pause and name it. This is anxiety. This is loneliness. This is the part of me that wants to be soothed. It may sound simple, even silly, but the act of naming pulls the craving out of the shadows and into the light. The more clearly you see it, the less power it has over you. When you can say, "I know why you're here," you begin to change the story. Here is where philosophy and psychology meet. The goal isn't to destroy the craving, but to integrate the lost part of yourself that's using the craving to cry for help. Jung wrote, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. To accept the craving, not as the enemy, but as the voice of a wounded part, is to begin healing for real." How do you do this? Start with honesty. When you feel the urge, don't distract yourself. Don't berate yourself. Instead, ask, what am I avoiding? What pain have I refused to feel? What hope did I give up on long ago? You might feel fear, sadness, or even anger. That's okay. Most people turn back at this point. They tell themselves, it's too much. But every time you face your shadow, you take back a little more of your power. You won't be free in a day, but every time you bring awareness to your cravings, you loosen the chains. Every moment of curiosity is a victory over the old script. Philosophy asks us to endure the discomfort of not knowing, of sitting in the unknown, and trusting that something new will emerge. Jung's psychology is an invitation to patience. Change doesn't happen all at once, but each act of awareness, each honest question, plants a seed for the future. As you learn to listen, not run, not numb, not distract, you start to discover a new voice inside. A wiser voice, one that doesn't need to shout or threaten. One that says, I see you. I know you're hurting. But you don't need to escape anymore. You can stay. This is the beginning of self-trust. This is what Jung called individuation. The journey of becoming whole, not by cutting away the parts you don't like, but by welcoming them home. Most people will never know this feeling. They'll spend their lives chasing relief and missing the lesson. But you, by staying, are already on the path less traveled. You might not feel free yet. That's okay. But freedom isn't a moment. It's a process. It's the result of 1,000 small acts of courage, 1,000 moments of turning toward your pain, not away. The journey continues. In the next part, you'll learn the final step, how to use the energy of your cravings as fuel for transformation, not self-destruction. And you'll discover the truth Jung reserved for his bravest students, a truth that turns addiction into a teacher, not a curse. Don't miss it, because the last lesson is the one that changes everything. The Alchemy of Craving. You've made it here, through the hard questions and the hidden rooms of your own mind. Most people would have clicked away by now, scared off by the discomfort or by the fear that nothing can change. But you stayed. That already means something. It means you're not just searching for relief, you're searching for transformation. Carl Jung didn't believe in shortcuts. He believed in alchemy. He saw life as a process of turning lead into gold, not by throwing away what's dark or heavy, but by melting it down, understanding it, and allowing it to be changed by your awareness. Think about the urge, the craving, the pull toward your old habits. Every time it rises, it's like a spark, full of energy, full of potential. Most people waste that energy by fighting it, running from it, numbing it, or shaming themselves for feeling it. But what if you learned to use that spark instead of trying to extinguish it? The alchemists believed that every poison can be turned into medicine, if you know the secret. Jung believed your craving, your addiction, is the very material from which your new self can be forged. Turning poison into power. It starts with a shift in attitude. Instead of asking, "How do I get rid of this feeling?" ask, "What can I learn from it? How can I use its energy?" Craving is energy. It's the mind's way of saying, something is missing. Something needs to move. When you feel the urge, don't waste it. Channel it. If you're craving a cigarette, use that moment as a cue to take a deep breath, to move your body, to write down your thoughts, to create something, even if it's just a single honest sentence about what you're feeling. This is the difference between unconscious repetition and conscious transformation. You can't always stop the urge from coming, but you can choose what you do with it. Over time, this practice rewires your relationship with yourself. Jung noticed that people who escaped addiction didn't just quit. They replaced one ritual with another, one pattern with something more meaningful. You need new rituals, new ways to use the energy that used to fuel your cravings. If you always reached for your habit in times of stress, try pausing and feeling the ground under your feet instead. If you used to numb your mind before sleep, try journaling the one truth you're most afraid of admitting. If you want to run from discomfort, try moving toward it for 60 seconds, naming it, breathing through it, and letting yourself feel it fully. Small rituals, done with awareness, are the tools of transformation. From shadow to self. Jung believed the purpose of life is individuation, the process of becoming whole by integrating all the lost, rejected, or feared parts of yourself. Addiction shows you where your wounds are, but also where your greatest energy lives. The shadow isn't your enemy. It's your guide to your own hidden potential. Every time you pause and face your craving, you reclaim a little more of your power. You become less divided, more unified, more yourself. And slowly, your identity changes. You're no longer the addict, the lost cause, the one who can't change. You become the observer, the chooser, the alchemist, Someone who can hold pain, longing, and even fear, and still move forward with purpose. A new identity. You might wonder, how do I know if I'm really changing? The answer isn't dramatic. It's quiet. You notice that the voice of shame gets softer. You notice you don't need to hide from yourself as much. You catch yourself pausing, reflecting, choosing. Just once, and then again. You begin to trust yourself, and that trust grows, one small act at a time. Most people measure change in big victories or clean streaks, but real transformation, Jung believed, is measured by your willingness to show up honestly for yourself, day after day, no matter what. The hidden reward. Here's the payoff most never expect. The journey through addiction is not just about quitting a habit. It's about discovering a new relationship with yourself. You start to realize that you're stronger than you thought, wiser than you believed, and more capable of holding discomfort than you ever imagined. You stop seeing yourself as broken. You start seeing yourself as brave. Jung wrote, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." That's your truth now, too. One last challenge. If you've watched until the end, you've already proven you're not like most. You're ready to meet your cravings with curiosity, your shadow with compassion, your wounds with the willingness to heal. So here's the final step. Every time the urge returns, use it as a bell, a reminder to check in with your deepest self. Ask, what do I truly need right now? What does your soul hunger for? Connection, truth, meaning, rest? Find a small, honest way to give it to yourself. Every time you do, you weaken the old pattern and strengthen the new. Addiction wants you to believe you're stuck forever. That's the lie. The truth is you are changing every day, and every small act of awareness is a victory. You don't have to be perfect. You only have to keep showing up. If you made it to the end, you're not just watching a video. You're doing the work most people avoid for a lifetime. Hold on to that, because as Jung knew, the freedom you seek was always waiting for you, just beneath the shadow, just inside the craving, just on the other side of the fear. You'll never let addiction win again. Not after this.